Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Naaman with the DC Great Millstone Camp here, back for another video. First and foremost, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakahakwadash, and of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to send out salutations to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways, pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. All right. Aided, of course, by the numerous amounts of videos that are posted for everyone's edification. All right, and hey, this is all done in order to wake up the remaining hopeful elect of our people. All right. So today, as you can see on the screen, this is from the Philip Scott podcast channel, and what he's going into. Let me let's see. There we go. All right, going into this recent shooting, because them folks, as it says in the title here, all in the uproar about, because it's one of them that got, popped. So now they're concerned after everything that's happened to us. All of a sudden, he's going to go into that. But, this is proof, which we've always tried to tell you, why any of you all are going to feel sorry for them folks. All right. Now, collectively, the last year or so, it's amazing because we've never done anything to let you know that a time is winding down here. Jake collectively has just stepped back and said, you know what? Fuck it. And these people are like all confused. We're not just talking about them folks. We're talking about everybody else. Said, why aren't the blacks out in the streets? Because what a lot of you probably haven't realized, when we say we're still in captivity, that's just what we mean. We're still in slavery. What's the purpose of a slave? Well, a big one is to make everyone else's life easier, right? Have we not done that? For these immigrants that come over here, to say nothing of, the so-called white folks over here. And now that we've stepped back and say, you know what? We've had enough. Now everybody's in a panic mode. This is beautiful to see. If for nothing else, it's giving these people pause and making them, especially these immigrants, because they come over here and they talk shit, and they're put up to it to an extent, because as I'm told, when people go to certain places, them folks don't act like that toward us over in their homeland. It's only when they come over here, and you have to understand that by and large, the people that come over here are castaways over in their own on their own homeland. These are the ones that chose to flee, and they're not looked at very well by their own. All right, so let's go ahead and roll this video. Wow, it says them folks supported every action by police when it came to us. To sum it up. So here we go.
Deal with today's message.
All right, everybody, I'm back. Thank you for joining us on the stream. I appreciate that. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. It's free. Make sure you also download the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store. Definitely, I appreciate everybody that's here, that's joining us. And, I had some, I was out as Sister Demetra, and I appreciate her for covering for me, right? She was covering for me while I was out. I went to the CES show out there in Las Vegas for 3 days or so. And the reason why I went there is because we have to be on the cutting edge of what's happening, what's going to happen, and what we can deploy, let me say that word, in our particular company and what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. So I will say this, I did the whole video. The whole video gonna be up on the app, okay? and let's get the brothers to go through and edit it. But I'm gonna say this much: people are cooked. People are so cooked when it comes to this. Not forget AI with these robots. What I see on my own two eyes, what robots are doing now. A lot of you are cooked. You thought AI was an issue. No. It's the robots. And what they're doing, that's going to make a lot of jobs obsolete from what I see. And I think a good 3 to 7 years, yeah, you better know how to do a job that a robot can't do, or be the person know how to work on the robot, service something with AI, service something. Everything was AI and robots from what I saw. So I just want to let y'all know, be prepared, and be prepared. But the black people who were there, and shout out to all of them I met, it wasn't a lot of us. It was mostly dominated with, Koreans and Chinese and, maybe a minimal of Africans, because a lot of them couldn't even get into the United States, right? They couldn't even get in. So, but the black Americans in particular, we talked to who were there, great people, met a lot of good people. But yeah, so we're going to make sure to always be on top, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I know last night I did a live podcast last night about the situation with Renee Good. And if you have not seen that podcast, make sure you check that out on the Philip Scott podcast channel. Just always check out our podcast. And we're going to go back into that tonight because you see, the folks have created a monster. You understand? They have created a monster. Hold on. Let me make sure I click this here to make sure I see y'all. I couldn't see y'all. They created a monster with this law enforcement, and we're going to do some history tonight, what we call recent history, about what's happened to black Americans over the years and how the folks supported every bit of what happened to black Americans. And we fast forward to what happens to them, and really, if you look at it, it is their fault. But as we get into that, I'm looking at everybody that's starting to come in and all of that. I know I have not been here, and sometimes I have to go do other things. That's part of it. Listen, you cannot, let me tell you about these platforms. These platforms are not ours, okay? These platforms, whether YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, whatever platform, it's their platform. So for me, I'm all about building what we own. You understand? I'd rather have 1 million people on my app. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather even have 10,000, 100,000 on my app, because at least those people we own. We don't own the algorithms. We don't own the monetization. That's why they can take monetization channels. They can do whatever they want because you don't own a freaking thing. So we got to push more ownership, create our own things, and that's what we're doing here, right? Whether it's books, whether it's music with Soraya, we're doing everything that's to do on our own, okay? If you're not trying to do something on your own, you're just waiting for a problem. I see people right now complaining about TikTok, about it's not paying them like it used to. Well, if you don't use that audience, some people say they had like millions of people, and yet now they're getting paid not much or nothing. You better pivot. That's anybody. You better pivot. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get on to what I want to get to. I know I won't take much more of your time. I know your time is precious, and let's go ahead and start this class. All right. So let me get to my first order of business. Where is my first order of business? Right here. I just want to look at the headline, okay? Just the headline.
Apparently, these are the hardest words to pronounce. Almond.
It's almond, but okay.
No, it's not.
Schedule.
That's
right here. I just want to look at the headline, okay? Just the headline. Outrage over ICE sparks protests across the Bay Area. They are out for good, right? There's a bunch of the folks protesting. Now, this is in San Francisco. That there was San Francisco, hundreds of cities that took part. They say in today's ICE out for good protests on Saturday. So they do not want immigration and customs enforcement. Why? Because they, fear for their life, and the agent had to try to go home to his family, right? That's what they told us. They say from the Bay Area to Boston, they say anti-ICE protests took place across the country, and I'm so proud of black Americans because you were not there in no mask. it may be a few, like the few people I did see, I don't even know they were Black American. And if they were, because you got a couple of them that's just going to be, oh, we got to do this. Well, you go do what you got to do, bro. That's an outrage. It continued Saturday after an ICE agent is shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good on Wednesday. Then they were talking about these residents here, and what they had to say is that we were out on Wednesday night. It said immediately after hearing about Renee Good's shooting. Oh, immediately you was out. It's in the Keith Porter shooting, which is a Black. I need to look more into that case. I've heard about that, but I need to get more information before I say a word about that. And say all these deaths is just unconscionable. Really? They say in Good's case, they say Department of Homeland Security said she drove toward the agent that fired in self-defense, which from the video I saw, that's what it looked like to me. They say in San Francisco, they said, they're talking about bandits that got loud. They said, we have many issues, but the immediate one right now is a horrible shootings by ICE. It's so tragic. They're saying, I just feel like we now have a secret police. Really? A secret police? Okay. I didn't know we had secret police. Oh, but when Black people was telling you about all of this, you say, oh, we're not putting up with it. It's time for the feds to back off. We don't want ICE anymore. We don't want any more, unalivings. Let me say that. Now, here's the thing. Folks. Because we going to talk about this tonight. You don't want no more of that. You sure didn't say that all these years. You never said you didn't want no law enforcement. You backed the blue, remember? Blue. When we say Black Lives Matter, what were you saying? Blue Lives Matter. That's what you said. You came out there saying Blue Lives Matter. That's not what we said. You said that. Okay. You was taking your porch light, putting a blue light in there, and to antagonize Black Americans. That's what you did it for, to antagonize. You didn't do it for no other reason.
That, and to make mockery of Jake's suffering. But that's what they've always done. But all these scriptures that say whatever traps and snares that you set for us was going to fall back on you.
Right? So you're upset because one of your own lost his life. Let me tell you something. Even with the simple fact that she felt comfortable enough to even engage ICE agents like that. She had no problem going back and forth with them. They follow them a lot of times. You talk with the folks. Why? Because you got privilege, because you feel safe, because you say, hey, they're not going to touch me. I'm not Black, so I can go approach them. I can yell in their face. I can do whatever I want to do. So Black Americans don't even do that because we have lost our lives for a lot less. Okay? Now, let's go to, let me see another headline I wanted y'all to see here. Look at this one here. Another headline. Interesting. Minnesota prosecutor calls on the public to share Renee Good's shooting evidence with her office. So why she want that? Well, she wants to try to put a case on ICE. She wants to get the ICE agents with charges. Well, here's the thing about that and why that's not going to really amount up to a hill of beans. Black Americans had voted in the election with Joe Biden. Let's get back on screen here for a minute. We're
going to pause right there and get this real quick out here. I often try not to miss this. This is the copyright disclaimer. All right, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, so there we go. Get that out the way. And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
The election with Joe Biden. Let's get back on screen here for a minute. We'll come back to this, okay? So Black Americans voted in the election. Joe Biden was elected. And Black folks at the time say, all right, Biden, when you get in office, we want the George Floyd bill signed and remove qualified immunity from these police so they can be held accountable for their actions, because the way y'all have the law set up, They have qualified immunity where they can just take a life of a person and they're really not held accountable, or if they are, it's very hard to prosecute them. Even Eric Holder, Barack Obama's attorney general, was saying that, right? So qualified immunity was the problem, right? So black Americans say, okay, they go vote for Biden, get Biden in office, Trump get out. Now they say, okay, we got the George Floyd bill, right? Let's go ahead and get rid of this qualified immunity. Biden didn't support that. He did not support getting rid of qualified immunity. And see, y'all don't understand why a lot of black people got disenfranchised with the Democrat Party. They act like, they lie. They lie and say, oh, it's you guys online that's got black people feeling that way. You a lie, and the truth is not in you. Okay? It's the Democrat Party that didn't fulfill promises or the illusion of a promise to black Americans that got a lot of them disenfranchised with the Democrat Party. Wasn't nobody online. I don't even reach the amount of people a network TV may reach. Okay? I'm not on anything else. Now, do people see me sometime? Yes. But that's in the grand scheme of things, we are very small in the grand scheme of things. I'm not broadcast at this time on every network in the world. Okay? So how can people really be influenced by somebody like me? Maybe only a small amount, but not really many. I'm just talking about in the grand scheme of things versus, let's say, what a CNN could do, or MS Now, that's what they call it at this time, or what a Fox News can do, or whatever, right? No, it was the Democrat Party not doing nothing when black Americans say, hey, do something about this situation because our lives keep getting taken by this entity. And yet they did nothing about it. What did Biden say? He said, we're going to fund the police and fund them. That's what Biden said in his State of the Union address. So when you talk about how black Americans are feeling about the Democrat Party, blame the Democrats, not nobody online. Matter of fact, the Democrats did an assessment after the 2024 election to see what was wrong, what went wrong with everything. The report was so bad, the Democrats did not release it publicly. That's how bad the report was. They were like, oh, hell no. We can't put this out. No, this is bad. And the only reason why they didn't want to put it out, because they know they cratered their black support. They cratered that. Do you imagine having to go tell the public we created our black support after investing $1 billion into Kamala Harris, doing every shucking and jiving and bootlicking and shine behavior, and yet we still cannot get that lady elected? That's an embarrassment on them. And then you Democrat shields want to point to people online like right now, if more people are watching I Show Speed in Africa than they'll watch me. So let's start there. So no, we're not doing anything. It's only a certain amount of people that probably will watch us, maybe. So no, y'all messed that up. Period. Now, let's get back to what we were looking at, because I want to point something out before we do our history lesson. Now, the prosecutor wants to possibly prosecute this cop immediately. No investigation. No. Hey, we got to go through all the process. No having other meetings. No city council. No nothing. When something happens to a white American person at the hands of the police,
you don't say.
Immediate action needs to be taken.
Wow.
That's interesting, right? And y'all say there's no racism in America, or you say it's not that bad. And listen, Minnesota is liberal, okay? When George Floyd was unalived in that same city, look what it took for the cop to even get prosecuted. Immediately, the district attorney said, hey, I want the video, I want everything, because I want to put some charges on this ICE agent. I want y'all to see that. Now, folks, you saying no ICE. Let me tell you something. No, we need ICE. We need them. You know why? Because they're here to make sure we don't have people just flooding our country that don't belong here. We need customs enforcement. We don't want people bringing in, and they have seen this at the airports, people bringing in bushmeat, literally, through the freaking airport. Well, customs caught that. Certain meats don't come here, certain pork, certain plants, all things. You need customs enforcement and you need immigration. You need that. Sorry, they're doing their job, right? Listen, I don't have to worry about ICE. Why? Because I'm not doing nothing, first of all, illegal for them to mess with me. And number two, I'm not an immigrant. And if I was an immigrant, I'll make sure I'm here legally. Any country I go to, I'll make sure I'm there legally. I don't go in without a visa. I don't go in without approval. If they say, hey, you're going to be here 60 days, 90 days, whatever, I'm not going to stay that long. But I'm going to come, do my thing, and leave right back out because I don't need no problems. As long as you follow the immigration rules of every nation you go to, you don't have problems. But the issue is people have been here and not doing things the right way. And that's why they have the problems.
It's as simple as that.
I'm telling you that's why they're having the problems. Everybody who did it the right way don't have a problem with ICE. They're not even thinking about ICE, right? Now, let's go ahead on and start a history lesson real quick. Let me go to the first one I need to go to. Well, you know what? Let me say something I wanted to respond to as well. Let me get to this article here out of Dallas Weekly. Okay. Now, I want to go back here where it says racial violence isn't a bug in the system. Okay.
Nope. It's systemic.
I want to go. No, let me see. Hold on. It was one part I want to go to. Hold on. God, where is it at? I thought I had it. Maybe. Give me a second. Okay, yeah. It's traumatizing to watch goods unaliving. Humans aren't soulless, emotionless automations who shrug when they see life snuffed out. Yet we must bear the witness of the truth. That video helps combat the Trump administration's highly questionable narrative events for Black Americans. Though this visibility has come at a cost, Black folks have lived in more than a decade of extrajudicial, extra-legal Black unalivings going viral on social media. In 2013, the now defunct website Gawker published a photo and said Trayvon Martin moments after George Zimmerman shot him lying motionless on a patch of grass in Florida suburb. They say it rocketed. They say around social media, a website formerly known as Twitter. In the footage of the 2014 unaliving of Tamir Rice, it says he frolicked in the Cleveland playground, still available on YouTube. It said, will stay with us, many of us forever. Said police officer with all the training required to obtain a badge. They shot that boy just seconds after arriving on the scene looking for an adult with a gun. Then, of course, we know about, the situation of George Floyd and all of that. And so now we crawl down here, and she says, so how should we respond? By taking care of ourselves, building community, and loving each other. Mere hours after Good's killing author Dr. Joy DeGruy, it said made it clear that Black people are at the heart of her work. It said, I'm unapologetically Black. My focus on Black people. She said during her weekly Wellness Wednesday live cast, it said, but don't get it twisted, ensuring Black people are healed and loved, and the whole, she says, does not exclude care for others. She said, it's not the limit of my compassion or my grace or my love or my interest. She said, and I believe that time we're in right now, we need everybody on board. And so this is what she says here, but it was something, I thought I lost my place. Because the lady was saying something, and I thought I had it there. Okay, I guess I lost it. She was kind of talking about the situation with Trump, and saying, oh, God, I can't believe I lost my spot. And I don't want to read through this whole thing with y'all being here because y'all got other stuff y'all need to do. Okay, cool. But let me start on the history lesson. That's my main thing I want to do. All right. Let's start here, Michael Brown. Y'all remember Michael Brown? Y'all remember the brother, Michael Brown? How his life was taken? 18 years old, and called him Big Mike, and some of his friends called him Michael Brown Jr. and all of that. And remember, his life was taken. His parents right here, as you can clearly see, with Benjamin Crump. You remember that case? How was white America acting about Trayvon Martin? I'm sorry, and Trayvon Martin too, which was disgusting. But how were they acting about Michael Brown? Were they outraged? Did they want the police banned. Did he want any of that? No. They supported him. They said that we're just complaining, that we're, just tearing up businesses, right? Okay, you supported the police during Michael Brown, and this is updated in 2014 during Obama. I want to make sure to say that. Then, as a sister talked about Tamir Rice, they had reached a settlement, but they don't bring that back. That article was written back in 2016, right? 12 years old can get gunned down, only in America. Renee Good, was going and messing with ICE. They told her to leave and all of that, and yet she would not do it.
Yep.
Get out the car, would not do it. But yet a black child can just be in a park, minding his business, and he gets gunned down. Not in messing with any kind of law enforcement or ICE or anybody. He just get gunned down. Michael Brown get gunned down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not messing with the cops, not anything. And those cases, as the other sister said in the article, the video of Tamir Rice is still on YouTube. It's on YouTube. You can clearly see the video. They're not taken down. All that other stuff is still there, right? They're talking about protection of children, but yet those videos are still online. Our people lose their life a lot less. Let's go back. Let's go back and see how more people have lost their life a lot less. Do you remember Eric Garner? That's Eric Garner with his family, and on this picture, it's Eric Garner, and to the left is Erica Garner, right? That's his daughter. After the police took his life, choked him out, right, for trying to stop a fight, was being a good citizen, they took his life. The white America was were they outraged by this? No, they tried to find every kind of dirt on our brother Eric Garner, right? Put his family through pure hell. After the brother's life was taken, Erica Garner, his daughter, right, was taking up the fight for justice. And with time, Erica Garner ended up passing away herself. She was a young sister, young. And I remember I had a conversation with her because I was supposed to set up to do an interview with her on this platform. And I remember we talked about it, and yet the sister, I think, died 2 weeks later. And that was so sad. But she was always fighting about her dad and all that. White America didn't say get rid of the NYPD. They didn't say that at all. They supported the NYPD. Blue Lives Matter, right? All right. So let's go. Freddie Gray. You remember Freddie Gray, the little brother in Baltimore? And you remember Marilyn Mosby went to try to prosecute the cops, and they made an example out of her that you don't try to prosecute the cops. Now that's something they updated in 2025. But Freddie Gray, you remember how they threw him in the back of this van here, and it caused injuries for this young brother, they say in April 2015 during Obama, right? Black folks were getting murked during Obama. And he didn't do nothing to protect black folk. Nothing. Anyway, so we had that uprising that happened during that time period in Baltimore. As you can see here, the brother was fighting for his life and all of that, right? Black folks was pissed off about that. Then you go to, you remember the Alton Sterling out there in Louisiana. Police gunned him down, right? And what he died in what? That's he right there in 2016 during Obama, right? It's so many different things that happen to black folks. So that brother passed away. White people didn't want.
For those that believe so much in Obama being your savior, I've actually seen pictures in people's houses where they have JC, I don't want to say that name, but, who we know as Yahweh Shai, and next to him they have Obama. Yeah, pitiful, right?
The Baton Rouge Police Department to be disbanded or nothing like that, right? They supported them. Blue Lives Matter. Okay. Well, of course we know George Floyd, right? Of course we know George Floyd. They didn't call for.
And see, here's the thing. This division, all right, was done roughly 350 years ago during something called Bacon's Rebellion, where they learn to divide, all right, to prevent further uprisings. Let's see, Bacon's Rebellion. Let's see. There we go. I just said roughly 350. Yeah, well, okay. Bacon's Rebellion was an armed uprising in Virginia from 1676. Yeah, 350 years. Okay. Led by Nathaniel Bacon against Governor William Berkeley, the rebellion arose from tensions over Native American policies, economic struggles, and social inequalities, ultimately resulting in the burning of Jamestown and a crackdown on dissent. Let's see, let's go further into it. The causes, blah, 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 Native American conflicts. Okay, this is their land, but yeah, they said they felt threatened by Native American tribes. A raid by the Doeg Indians in July of 1675 escalated tensions, leading to retaliatory attacks on friendly tribes. Oh man, political discontent, but let's get to the aftermath. Let's see. The rebellion resulted in the execution of several leaders and the recall of Governor Berkeley to England. It highlighted the potential for unity among poor whites and blacks, leading to increased racial divisions and the rise of slavery in Virginia. All right. Bacon's Rebellion is often viewed as a precursor to later revolutionary sentiments in America. Yeah, they learned to divide, and then you would say roughly 5 or 6 years later, the classification of white as a group, and then in 82, I believe it was, where they had they classified the natives as Negro. Yeah, that was an attempt to, what they call it, what's the expression? Not extermination by the sword, but by the pen. I put it that way. It's another way they say it, but anyway, so, and then Lyndon Baines Johnson told you this. All right, let's get that. This is what they were doing. All right. LBJ quotes. All right. On race. All right. LBJ told you this. All right. Here we go. But you still, because you enjoy your privilege, you don't care what's right or what's wrong. All right. Here, as soon as I don't know what the hell's going on here. What the hell is this? Oh, come on. I don't want none of that shit. What the hell is going on here? Hold on, let me put it on pause. And here's the quote. LBJ, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. What are they telling you? They actually don't give a fuck about you, all right? You're just being used, all right? He says, this quote highlights the manipulation of racial divisions to distract from economic inequality. And it started, at least on this side, in 1676, Bacon's Rebellion, or soon thereafter, I should say. So 77, all right? Yeah. This reflects his view on how creating divisions among people can distract them from their own economic struggles and injustices. Yeah. Didn't mean much to you when we were getting our heads kicked in. We were getting lynched. All right. No bills for us. Again, in making mockery and showing your utter contempt for us. In recent years, what did you do? You gave a hate crime bill to what? The Asians. Didn't even think to include us in it. You made that distinction to say, fuck you, you niggers. And that's what you did. All right? So it's like I said earlier. Now, Jake is stepping back and is saying the same thing.
For the police department to be disbanded, or this is crazy, or we know what had to happen for even Derek Chauvin to get in prison. So I don't even have to go there because that's very, very recent history, right? All right. What about Breonna Taylor? Right? You remember Breonna Taylor? She was in her house. She was asleep with her boyfriend. They come busting down the door. Her boyfriend jumped up, said, hey, he thought somebody was getting robbed. Brother started, got his tool in self-defense. And they end up shooting and taking the life of Breonna Taylor. They weren't even supposed to be there at her house, right? Black folks in their house minding their business.
What about
now? We can do honorable mention. We could talk about Botham Jean,
yep.
Right? He wasn't Black American, but still, he's a Black Caribbean. He lost his life in his house. Right? Minding his business, eating ice cream. Amber Geiger walks in his house and gunned the man down. Now she's in jail, but look what it took for that. The one woman, the young woman that exposed that, she got put through hell. And I still appreciate that sister for coming to us and doing an interview with us and not giving them folks the satisfaction of trying to twist her words. She was very on code and smart. Mm-hmm. Very, very on code and smart young sister. I don't know where she at today, but young sister, if you do see this video, I'd love to talk to you and find out how you doing, because that was one of the most on code things I've seen a sister do. Is what she did during that situation. She had the video. She told me that people was offering her, thousands of dollars to do interviews, and she was turning them down because she wanted to go and give us the story and do an interview with us. And them folks was hot about that. Hot. I remember she told me when them white women say, well, what do he got that we don't have? You say, well, he Black like me. And say, and I'm not gonna worry about him doing nothing to my words. You understand what I'm saying? Because we know how the media is. We watch how many people try to do interviews with them and they twist your words, and you say, well, I do it with a Black journalist on there. No, they work for them. I don't trust them either, because they work for them. Look at how Gayle King was acting recently with the young lady Talisha Jones. She never do right by Black people. Look at the interview with R. Kelly. She never tries to do anything right for Black people. So sitting down with her, you better understand that's a battlefield you're going through. Unless you want to battle her, that's cool. But she works for the folks. She don't work for Black people. That's how she kept her job all these years. Understand? Oprah, her home girl, and you know how Oprah came to fame, doing the most, putting out the most dirt on white networks about Black men and women. Okay? Oprah is the reason why that quote-unquote download conversation was even taken off. She kept platforming it on a white network. That's her show, but she was on a white network doing that mess. Like you ain't got DL people in every community, right? Now let's continue more on this trip down memory lane here. Okay? You remember Walter Scott, right? You remember Walter Scott? Walter Scott was the brother that was in the military. Michael Slager was the cop. He tried to run away from him. Michael Slager gunned him down and then want to plant a taser by him, as you see Walter Scott right here. Plant a taser by him, and a brother caught it on camera. He was trying to plant evidence after he took the life of Walter Scott, who actually served this country. Did white America... He was a veteran. Did white America, were they outraged? Did they want an end to the police department? No. It went on business as usual. They say, oh, well, he must have done something. Why did he run? Why did he give a lawful order? The cop was scared. That's why he shot him, running away from him. Running away, right? Running away, not toward, away. He shot him in the back. Black folks run from cops, and they get shot in the back. And then they went to court and all of that, to even Supreme Court, to say it's illegal for them to shoot you in the back and you running away, right? Okay, cool. Now let's get to another brother, Dante Wright. Do you remember Dante Wright? His life was taken by the police, as you know, with his case. And where was white America on that? They supported the police all this time. I mean, we can keep going on and on and on and on and on, ladies and gentlemen, about things that's happened to black Americans or even some black immigrants in this country at the hands of the police, and white America supported every bit of it, ladies and gentlemen. So since you have supported that, there's nothing you could say. It's nothing you could say. You have been extremely consistent on supporting the police. Extremely consistent. You don't have no right to talk about the police killing anybody. You don't have no right to talk about gentrification because you supported that too, right? Black Americans was talking about gentrification for years, ladies and gentlemen, for years. And now, because they're being gentrified out of their properties because of they can't afford it. AI data centers are popping up on lands, making everything expensive for them. Now they want to cry, and they go into their rural areas too and putting this stuff up. Now they're crying about it. But when black people are talking about the environment, when black people are talking about gentrification, look what they're doing. We can't afford it anymore because they put this stuff here and then they raise the prices on us, but now we're not raising our wages. You know, what did you good white people say in America? Why don't we just work hard, right? Stop complaining. We always complaining about everything. We complain about racism. We complain about the police. We complain about this, and the third, right? And it seems like what I've noticed, and maybe, have y'all noticed, they're doing the most complaining now. I don't really see black Americans complaining anymore. Have y'all noticed that? Or maybe it's just me. Have you noticed black Americans have not been complaining? Have you noticed that? We haven't been complaining. No, we ain't even been complaining about racism. We ain't not really complaining about the prices. We're not complaining about the job losses. Have you noticed that? We're not complaining. But who's complaining every day? Who's crying? Look. Who was in the food bank line?
Oh.
Who's the most on EBT? It's sure not black Americans. Notice when the government cut everybody off, notice black Americans are good. Because we can't get that mess anyway. Only a few of us get it, but even a lot of them were good with it being cut off. You're the one that needs the government assistance, it's not us. But all this time you lied to the world and said that we the one taking all the welfare, we taking the food stamp, we taking everything. And then when the government was shut down, you was exposed not only in this country but for the world. Listen, you had people in other countries was marveling at how many of y'all was in a food bank line. And they will say, wow, I thought America was a rich country. They can't feed themselves. And who was plastered on the TV screen? Y'all.
Despite, for decades, all the propaganda that they put out there that we became the face of all these social programs. Yeah. See how everything comes to light? That's Luke 12:2 and Luke 8:17. Yeah. All this. And let me get these scriptures while it's on my mind. Let's see. Let's go to Psalm 7:15. It says, He made a pit. All right. Substitute system, the word system there, and digged it, and it's fallen into the ditch. All right. Or the system He made for us. All right. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pay. Let's go to the Apocrypha. All right. Let's go to Sirach 27:25. Whoso casteth a stone on high casteth it on his own head, and a deceitful stroke shall make wounds. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that setteth a trap shall be taken therein. He that worketh mischief, it shall fall upon him, and he shall not know whence it cometh. 28. Mockery, all right, and reproach. Isn't that what they done to Jake? What I said a little bit earlier. All right. Making memes about, especially one thing he did mention was Colin Kaepernick. All right. Just taking a knee infuriated these motherfuckers. Just for bringing to the attention the disproportionate amount of incidents when it comes to police brutality about our people. Oh no, you just want to make waves. No. But now, all right, mockery and reproach are from the proud, and no one's more proud than these Edomites, these self-professed white people. But vengeance, as a lion, shall lie in wait for them. They that rejoice at the fall of the righteous shall be taken in the snare, and anguish shall consume them before they die. And isn't that what is happening? And you can add, they shall complain of an ungodly father. All right. Malice, verse 30, and wrath, even these are abominations, and the sinful man shall have them both. So it's over. It's these people are done. This whole thing is fallen. All right. And wow, it's so beautiful to see. God dang it, I touched the wrong thing here. Salakia.
Stop being so nice to women. Nice will never equal turned on or
Y'all.
Let's get some of these comments. Our brother's right. Separation is the best and only solution. Well, it's really a little too late. This little example of the past year, all right, has shook them. All right. Let's see. It says the folks always created their own problems, then want to use someone else to help solve them. All right. It says Fred Gray was also a victim of lead poisoning from public housing wall paint. That's the first time I've heard of that. He said, hey, it makes sense though. He had eaten so much lead paint as a child that it made his bones brittle. He was pictured as a child in an article about the toxic lead paint in public housing. So when he was rattled around in that wagon, his fragile bones easily broke, and of course he died. Damn. As I see it, she should have complied with law. Isn't that what they always say about us? After all, isn't that what they tell us? Let's see the replies to that. Exactly. She should have sat right there, complied, and not resist or flee his orders. Every time, although she didn't deserve to get killed by ICE. Whatever. Anyway, how quickly these folks forget. Thank you, Brother Phil, for pointing out these folks' evil that is backed by the American government. All right. We're automatically criminals for simply existing. Let that sink in. Yet we're expected to solve everyone else's problem. See, that's what I was talking about from the beginning. All right. Make it make sense. All right. Exactly. And all of a sudden they have empathy. What a joke. They only have empathy and sympathy for their own. Keep delineating completely. There you go. So I'm gonna, cut it right here. It's like 24 more minutes, something like that. So I'll end it right here. My point's been made. Yeah, these people are. You understand, hopefully, now that this is why they, as in the time of ancient Pharaoh, they refuse to let us go. They can't exist without us. It's a weird fucking like symbiotic relationship. It's wicked as fuck. All right, they can't they will absolutely fall the fuck apart without us. You know. So hey, so with that, I hope everyone who views this has been edified. That's what we do here at Great Millstone. Filter everything through the scriptures to let you know just exactly how little time you actually have. All right. And once again, I like to encourage everyone to remain circumspect out there. All right. This is not the time to be happy-go-lucky and like a lot of Jake expecting everything to just be all right, because it's not. All right. So with that, until the next video, hey, shalom.